Hey,
How's it going?
good, good. I'm a bit
Excellent.
ex I'm excited, a bit nervous actually.
Okay.
How are you?
I'm doing great, thanks.
Cool.
This is a really good connection. It's super
Yeah,
clear.
perfect.
Yeah.
Nice.
So you know this is going up on YouTube, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Actually, maybe that's why I'm a bit nervous.
Well, we don't have to use your name anywhere
Yeah, yeah,
if you don't
yeah.
want. I can just say private session on August 6th and
Yeah, you can say Gerhard, that's fine. But yeah,
okay. Okay, sure.
but it's about the info coming through anyway, so that's should be
Hmm.
fine.
Yeah, yeah. So who do you want me to channel?
So,
Anyone in particular?
well, actually, the last since this turned up as a kind of gift, didn't have any questions before, and so I just said to myself, something will pop up until our date, and actually, it happened like 3 days ago, and I read in a book which is actually with channeled information, channeled by Tom Kenyon,
Yeah.
and he channeled the Hathors.
Ah, okay.
And then I noticed that you channeled them too. So
Yeah.
actually, I think it doesn't make a huge difference. It's just funny maybe that I got the idea to talk about that topic from reading from the Hathors.
Okay. Sure. All right, let's do it. I like
Cool.
channeling them. Sure. Okay, here I go.
Cool.
Yes. 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 We have arrived.
So who am I talking to?
We are the Hathors.
The Hathors. Beautiful.
Uh,
Thank you for being here.
yes, it is our pleasure.
I actually came across you traveling Egypt a few weeks ago, and I was at the Hathor temple, and I really got inspired to find out more about you. And now we're talking.
Yes. Synchronicities all around.
Um, what I wanted to go into a little bit is I read a passage in a book channeled by Tom Kenyon, and the Hathors. You were talking about time and the different time flows that exists on this Earth plane I'm on. So that we as humans have created a kind of abstract calendar that's not really in sync with nature, but that there
Yes.
are many cyclical and biological rhythms that we can kind of relax more into. So I want to explore that a little bit, maybe. Is there something you want to share already?
Well, part of the use of time on Earth has been to keep humanity feeling powerless. In other words, those who are in power are happy to remind you of what time it is, the date, and so on, because they are the ones collecting the rents and the mortgages and the other bills that you have to pay at certain times. And so you have become enslaved to the clocks and the calendars,
Yes, yes.
and it creates a great deal of anxiety. Even the church bells that ring are reminders to you that you should get yourselves to church and repent and confess and pray and so on. And so it has been used to control and to manipulate humanity, and of course, nature is always there beckoning you to tune into her rhythms and to let go of all of the electronic devices that remind you constantly about what time it is. And so this is the choice that you're being given here and now, the choice to go more towards the technological age and towards the idea that your consciousness is supposed to be somehow merged with electronics.
Yeah.
Or you have the idea that you can go towards nature and merge with the energies of earth and the sun, the ocean, all the beautiful plant life, and even the animals are very timeless. When you connect with them, they are never thinking about time. They're
Yes.
never worried about what day it is, or even whether it's appropriate for them to be sleeping or awake or eating or not eating, and so on. And so that's a similar choice you were making in Atlantis as a collective that was incarnate there. And the inability for humanity to integrate technology and nature together, to let them live harmoniously, was a big reason for the split there. The way that the
Okay.
Atlantis fell was to be struck by an
So,
asteroid, but it's split in half, just like
okay.
the way humanity's consciousness had split itself into these two camps.
Okay.
So what you're
So,
looking to achieve there is a
yeah, that's
balance
what I wanted to go
between,
into.
yes, between the life that you have where you still participate in the system that uses clocks and calendars, but you
Yeah.
don't want to obsess over it. You want to also
Yeah.
have your time in nature where you're not thinking about these things, where you're able to just connect to those higher frequency vibrations.
Well, as it is right now, I can see that there will be a future where everyone's totally in synchronicity, and so there
Yes,
is no need anymore for like having a date or something. Like
correct.
Daniel and me had to arrange a date in order to make
Yeah,
this happen here.
yeah,
But like I think there will be some unfolding transformation and some time needed until we're there. So I like this idea of the integration of nature and technology. So
Yes.
I'm wondering, for example, I thought a bit about it, if there would be an idea to combine a solar and a lunar cycles, combine them both into a calendar that might be somehow more natural feeling for us and therefore more serving at this time.
Well, it will be optional what you want to do once you shift. As you say, it won't be necessary for you to have these types of appointments because of synchronicity. But if you want to put down on paper or put down in a computer what these cycles are and live by them, then certainly you can, and certainly the two can coexist, because there are always cleaner ways, for example, of creating technology and creating energy to run the devices. And so you don't have to sacrifice nature to have technology, and you don't have
Yeah.
to go without technology to be a part of nature. You can have both, they can coexist, and that is the way of the fifth dimension. It's all about integration.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So also focusing on the bodily rhythms that are obvious, like breath and heartbeat, and also I'm wondering, because you stressed so much, we are under a lot of pressure because of our clock,
Yes.
and actually that's a kind of puzzling for me too. Like, for example, we are so used to this idea, for example, you go to sleep in the night,
Yes.
or we eat like three, or like in Austria here, we do like eat 3 times a day,
Yes.
and this is very rigid. And
Yes.
I'm wondering if it's if these kinds of rhythms are actually very individual, and everyone would have his very own way of going to sleep, if we relax into that, or if there is some truth in the ways we do it, or is it all completely weird?
Well, it's less important now for you to be asleep at night. In other words, now that you have electricity and you have lights and you have things that you can do at night, so you don't really need to sleep when it's dark and be awake when the daylight comes, and when you're all free from the need to have jobs, then you will have much more flexibility in that regard. But the way
Right.
that the 40-hour work week was set up, it was to take advantage of the daylight for the workers to be able to be more productive and so on.
Sure. So this could mean that actually I've never explored that too much for myself, because I've lived very much to this kind of
Yes,
going about things. It could be that I'm changed to sleep in the day, and that's like that's just my way, because there is no right way.
correct. Yes,
Because in like also in like I explored a lot the traditional Chinese perspective, and even there they have this very strict guidelines, like don't eat after 6 o'clock, or your stomach works best at 9 in the morning, so you should eat most. So all of that is basically a dogma that's not really serving.
correct. Because ultimately, you need to listen to yourselves. You need to listen to your own intuition when it comes to what is appropriate for you. And so, how
Yeah,
much sleep is appropriate for you? When to eat? You need to listen to your body. How much activity do you want in a day? And how much rest do you want in a day? It's really up to the individual. Not everyone is wired the same way, so you shouldn't all have to be conforming to these same ideas.
Yeah, it's really helping me, I think, to hear it like that, to be able to relax more into that. But then
Yeah.
again, like like a thought just came up into my mind. But even like if you look at animals, they go about in their. It's not like they're so individualistic like what you suggest for humans. Is there a difference there?
Animals are paying closer attention to the earth. They're usually closer to the earth, and so they're living more in concert with what they're feeling coming from the earth and the
Hmm.
moon and the sun and all of the influences that they have within that nature kingdom. And so animals are very true to themselves. They're very much following what humans call instinct, but what
Yeah.
really is their reading of energy. So you notice that they respond to your energy. When you come up to them, you don't want to be approaching an animal in a state of fear or anger, because they're going to react to it.
So they basically just so attuned to nature that's why it seems like they have kind of their rigid ways, but in the end, it's just because they're so relaxed.
Yes, indeed. And if you follow them closely enough, you'll see that those ways change. They
Hmm.
evolve according to what's going on with Mother Nature and the celestial bodies.
I see. So we can, even when we look at animals, we can also get a message there because they're so in tune.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll definitely gonna explore that more for myself. It's just about how to. I have to figure out how to meet with other people without the calendar, but I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Then there's one more aspect of this different time flows that exists all at the same time, so miraculously. You talked about in this short text I read, you talk about the intergalactical time. So it's like as I understand it, a very very huge time frame that runs below all of that, all the same. And in the text you say that we don't know too much about it yet. So I'm really
Yes.
curious if you could share a little bit about that too.
Well, in terms of, for example, the positioning of your solar system now, where it is, it's moving through space, and so are all of the other planets, moons, stars, and other celestial bodies. They're all moving through space. And so there's a harmony that is, you're all coming into more of a harmony in terms of the positioning of all celestial bodies. And
Mhm.
therefore, the timing of what's going to happen in the galaxy and all of the galaxies in the universe is something that is being worked out in the same way that you have musicians who would come together, and if they just start jamming with one another instead of playing from a set of sheet music in front of them, they will
Yeah.
eventually come to a place where they find that rhythm and find that harmony. And that's what you're doing in terms of the movement of all of these planets and so on. And so as that occurs, there's also the evolution of consciousness that is occurring, and they sync up. So, for example, humans moved past the center point of the galaxy on December 21st, 2012. And that was a big point in your evolution of your consciousness. And these types of occurrences are happening all the time now. And when the shift occurs, when the shift is activated within the consciousness of all beings in the universe, there will be also on a planetary level a type of coming together into a more harmonious flow. And you will all know what that is intuitively. You will have that embedded in you because you're all made of the same stuff that the planets and stars are made of. And so you're going to feel much more conscious of what's going on. You won't have to look at charts, and you won't have to read what someone else is saying about the astrology. You will just know what's going on. It will then again be a part of that synchronicity you were talking about.
Right. So, but then again, by understanding those kind of harmonic transformation in the galaxies, how they dance with each other, if we understand it more and more, it will also become possible to read those patterns that are ahead, like the next big shift after this one.
Yes. Yes.
And is it like what like some of our ancient cultures have found out about the great year or the Platonic year? Is it one of those units in this bigger time scale?
Is it one of those what?
Is this a unit in this bigger time scale?
Yes, indeed, it is.
And so you can say, for example, already what's going to happen in 26,000 years from now, that there is another shift in consciousness in this or that direction?
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
And can you tell me about that?
Well, you'll be shifting from the fifth dimension to the sixth dimension.
Okay.
You see.
Oh, okay. Now I get it. So it's about the shifts of dimensions are really synced in this time scale somehow.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
Wow, that's amazing. And how is it that... Because like 26,000 years ago, I remember Bashar saying that humanity was sometime, I think in Atlantean time, collectively decided that we want to explore separation.
Yes. Yes.
So was that like 26,000 years ago? Was that another of those shifts?
Yes.
Okay.
Precisely. Yes.
And that's it. And I just don't get how a shift or like an transformation or evolvement of consciousness can actually be a decision to go into separation. Does that mean that
separation is about experience? It's about, in other words, if you think about how the male and the female, or masculine and feminine energies, have explored being as different as you can possibly be, going as far to the ends of the spectrum as you could possibly go. You've had some fun with that. You've had some fun exploring being male and having so much of a difference between you and a female that it felt really good to come together and create the idea that you needed each other to be whole. And you've also played around with the ideas of good and bad, in the sense that it's created for you some experiences that you couldn't have if everyone was experiencing more of a gray area,
Mm-hmm.
where everyone was neither really good nor really bad. And so there'd be a lot more harmony within that, of course, and that's what you're moving towards now. But you had the experiences that you had that could only be created by certain people exploring the depths of darkness, for example.
So that's in a way also kind of a necessary precondition for the integration that's happening right now to
Yes,
like
indeed. You have to
experience.
have separation first before you can have integration.
So
You
that
have to
means it
have
was
hunger before you can have satiation. You see, it's the same sort of experience. You have to be cold before you can come in from the cold into the warm home and experience the fire.
And now I'm wondering what happened before that, because where did they come from then to go into separation more? What was the state before? Because it couldn't have been second density, because then that wouldn't have been a human experience. Or how was that before 26,000 years ago?
Well, you were deciding to move into a time where you would, in other words, within the dimension, within the third dimension, you just decided you would take the third dimension to the experience of the lowest that you could. So you were helped to get to the place of your consciousness, the evolution of your consciousness. You were helped when you were Lemurian to get to that heightened level, and then from that heightened level you decided to explore within the third dimension what the depths could be, what the lower echelons of the third dimension could be in terms of experience. And you didn't do this consciously as humans, but you did it as a collective consciousness. It was that type of decision. And so you decided to go as far apart as you could in terms of the separation and the exploration of the depths, and then start coming back together to have this experience of a grand shift. And part of this coming back together from the furthest points of separation, it gives you more momentum. So there's been a lot more summoning and a lot more asking for this because of where you've been. So it has actually served you to have gone in those opposite directions and experienced the depths that you've experienced.
I can totally feel that. The speed we're at the moment. It's nice. So kind of every 2,600 years there is this kind of decision, either you're going exploring this direction, that direction. It's always a huge shift.
Yes, indeed. Yes.
But that's just like part of this universe, and of course there are many more parallel ones with different timings and everything.
Yes, because this universe is all about duality and polarity, but the polarization is becoming less and less now, and you're feeling more integrated, more unified as individuals, and soon to be as a collective you will feel that.
As an individual, I can confirm it. I'm really looking forward to see it on the collective level more and more. But actually, I see it too already in like so many people enjoying what's happening.
Yes, yes.
So that was great. Thank you. I think there was half an hour. Is there a little last question, maybe?
Very good. Yes.
It's a personal one. The number 23, it's like very funny. It's like everywhere, and I have a lot of fun with it. And I just perceive it as a sign that's reflecting back that I'm on a fun path.
Yes.
So, but I've never researched on that, and now it's coming up as a question. So maybe I just waited to hear it from you. But can you give me a little bit about the meaning, the symbology of the 23? So is there something I could learn about it?
Well, we could, and we could also turn it around on you because you're a unique individual. And so what we would say to you is that different people have their different numbers. And for you, this is significant, and you are determining for yourself what it means for you, and then you're beginning to co-create more with it, with that one particular synchronicity, so that it can play a bigger role for you in your life. And you'll see that it becomes a synchronicity that could only be relevant to you in certain ways.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's not universal in the sense that if everyone else who becomes aware of the number 23 in the same way that you are, they aren't necessarily going to have the same relationship to it.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
it's
now
about creating that relationship for yourself that defines what it means for you.
well, when you say it like that, then I feel that because I have so much fun with it all the
Yes.
time, that it seems that I put my meaning into it already in a great way. So it's working. So
Yes.
I don't have to need to know more in a way, and just go on having fun with it.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes, indeed. We are the
Well,
Hathors. We thank you, and we wish you a fond good evening.
you too. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Hey.
Hey. Funny.
Good conversation.
I liked it, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's really funny that I need to talk to aliens, that I allow myself to relax more with stuff like that, but it really helps.
Yeah. Wow. Cool.
Yeah. Thank you so much for what you're doing. It's
You're
amazing. I'm a
welcome.
huge fan.
Awesome. I appreciate that. All right. It was nice meeting you.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll put this up on YouTube.
Cool.
All right.
All right. Enjoy your day.
Take care. Sleep well.
Yeah. And you have a nice day.
Thanks. Bye, Gerhard.
Bye-bye.
Hi, everyone. This is Daniel Scranton. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, like and share this video, and give a visit to danielscranton.com when you get a chance.